How am I supposed to enter? Just like this. Hey, what is up, y'all? Welcome to Book Review 9. I feel way more rejuvenated about this series. I'm actually excited this month. We have quite the amount of books to review here. Let me see. There you go. We have quite the amount of books to review this month, way more than the previous two. So let's just hop into book 1.
Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Alright, so book 1 is also the biggest book of the month, clocking at around 950 pages, mainly because the print is so microscopic. It's actually probably way more than 900, but let's just keep it at the page count. The Count of Monte Cristo, I don't want this video to be an hour, so we're gonna do brief summaries and not really spoil. Like I said, I'm not gonna really spoil any of these books. I only plan on spoiling like 1 or 2 books. And that's really it. There are gonna be so many cars passing this video. So for me, The Count of Monte Cristo is probably one of the greatest books of all time. I have seen the movie before this, but this was years ago, so I forgot a lot about it. And this is the ultimate revenge novel, and it brings me back to that Arthur Morgan quote, "Revenge is a fool's game," but in this book, it's actually kind of rewarding because I'm not gonna spoil it. Let's just say this book threw me in for a whirl. It's very dense, so it was very hard to read. It took me like 15 to 20 days to just get through. Actually more like 30 because I started this last month and I was still reading it this month. So this is a very dense book. It's definitely like a month's read. It took me so long, but it's so rewarding because it's so rich and the characters are so well written. And overall, this has to be a top 10 books of all time. The main character, Edmond Dantes, goes through probably the worst psychological torture I've read so far in any book. Being falsely imprisoned for 14 years. Jesus Christ. Any more cars? Any more? Being falsely imprisoned for 14 years. And it's just a very powerful novel and it's very moving, and I would recommend it to anyone who just likes quality literature.
俺に今できることを考えた。小僧を人質にする。
Alright, so book 2, Don't Let Yourself Be Fooled. I did not read this entire book. I only read one short story. It's actually 3 pages. Hey, look, I know it's kind of like inflating the count, reading 3-page books, but what is this dude doing? What is he doing? I know it's kind of cheap to read. Are we being for real right now? Like the second I come out here to record, the entire neighborhood wants to come out here. My neighbors just parked up. Oh my God. I know it's kind of cheap to inflate the count with a 3-page book, but it's by Edgar Allan Poe, and it's not my fault. He writes really good stories and only makes them 3 pages. He's like a modern rapper making the greatest song only for it to last like 50 seconds. Like, no, we want more. But no, the book I read, specifically the short story I read in this colossal titan of a compilation, was The Telltale Heart. And the best way to describe this is a short, watered down, but still really good version of Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. It's basically, this is the book I'm gonna spoil, by the way. You can literally go right now and probably read it for free. It's 3 pages online. Just go and read it somewhere. It's basically about this dude who murders an old man, and he like rips out his heart, and then the police come in and he starts getting paranoid and he thinks they're onto him. They have no idea he killed the guy. And he just confesses, pulls out the heart and says, oh, I killed him. And that's how the book ends. You'd think it's bad, but I don't know how he does it with 3 pages. It's incredible. I'd give it like a solid 7 out of 10, which is a lot for 3 pages. How can you make me care that much, bro? How?
Oh, what the hell? Come on, baby!
All right, so book 3 is The Gambler by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Do not be fooled again. Just everyone. Yeah, no, just, is there like a block party happening right now? So again, don't be fooled by the size. This is, if you remember correctly, I read half of this book last month. There's 2 stories of Dostoevsky combined into one, The House of the Dead and The Gambler. This month I read The Gambler. The Gambler is only about this long. Let me show you. It's about this much of the actual book. This is The Gambler, this is The House of the Dead. It's a very short book, around 150 pages. I read it in like a day or 2. And like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's a book about a degenerate gambler. And by far my favorite character in this book was the grandma. And I don't really want to get into it, but they want to have her inheritance. I'll spoil this element, she just gambles it all away. the most goated character. It's very funny because Dostoevsky wrote this in a slump because he was like in debt from gambling, and he wrote it in like 20 days or something. And it's incredible how this man could have just pumped out that many books over and over again and have them be this good, because he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. He kind of missed on The Idiot, but I think that's a failure on my part for me not really understanding it as good. I have to reread that one day. But in terms of his catalog that I've read so far, which is about half, this is very solid stuff, and I really enjoyed it. So let's see, I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10. It was very good. I very much enjoyed this read, and it was a very pleasant, ride the entire time. It was just, it had me turning every page. It was incredible.
We're gonna play tomorrow? You bet, pal. You bet.
All right, so book 4 is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. This book is incredible. Now, I have not watched the movie that's based off this book with, Brad Dourif and Jack Nicholson, but let me tell you, if the movie is anything like this, I'm gonna love it. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it takes place inside of a psychiatric hospital and asylum, basically. And the main character is extraordinarily crazy. He actually got in there because he wanted to just have an excuse not to work anymore. It's like when you plead insanity at the trial so you don't get the life sentence or the death sentence, but instead of doing that, instead of wanting to work, he said, oh yeah, no, I'm crazy, and they institutionalized him. And that's the worst thing that could have happened to him, unfortunately. It's kind of like a sick metaphor. It's not that they're trying to rehabilitate them so that they can be free. They're kind of trying to rehabilitate them so that they can be better workers again. It's kind of twisted. At least that's how I interpreted it. Also, the characters in this novel are super strong. Just like I said, the main character, Chief, and just all the other characters, like the one who, you have to remember, I can't remember all these names, y'all. My head is only so big. So I just, forget, okay? It's not my fault. The main character, McMurphy, that's his name. McMurphy is he's kind of like an anarchist, I guess, but he just unites everyone in the hospital, and the ending is so sad. I don't want to ruin it, but does anyone remember that Adult Swim Toy Story, All right, and the next book I read was Stephen King's Pet Sematary. This actually isn't the copy I read. I have this really good one. I don't want to go inside and get it. I don't want to have to open this again. I'm not, you know what? This isn't the one I read, but this might be his greatest book. I'm serious. It's the one that affected me the most, and also it's probably the scariest one. I actually felt kind of terrified reading this book. It's really good. So the main character, Louis Creed, and his family move into this new house with their neighbor, Judd, and his wife, Norma. And he gets introduced to the Pet Cemetery, which is a cemetery that these kids made for their pets. They even misspelled it, cemetery. And he just gets introduced to it, and a bunch of things unfold in the novel, which leads him to burying a human being in there and them coming back and the repercussions that come with that. It's probably Stephen King's most philosophical book. It really had me contemplating on death and the totality of it. The way he describes, if I don't bury this person in the pet cemetery, am I killing them twice? And it's a very thought-provoking novel, and I enjoyed it from front to back. This dude is just trying to this is the second time he comes into the neighborhood. What is he doing, bro? Anyways, I read it in about 2 days, and it is earth-shattering. It put me in such a bad place mentally, but I loved it, because it's so expertly written. And I remember reading somewhere that this book made Stephen King, he put it in a drawer because he thought he finally pushed it too far for once. Because it genuinely scared him, and I can see why. It's very thought-provoking and about it, and at least in the copy that I read, at page 126, there's a reference to The Shining, and then there's another one about Jerusalem's Lot, which is Salem's Lot, his second novel, which I read earlier this year. So I love how he intertwines his stories together, and again, this is the third time he's coming out of the neighborhood. What is this dude doing? And there was a line in here where he's talking with the funeral parlor where they say people die in February more often. And although I can't confirm the accuracy of that statement, the fact that my grandfather died in February 7 years ago kind of added some horror to me because I was like, oh my god, he's not kidding. They drop like flies in February. Anyway, I give this book like a 10 out of 10. It's my favorite Stephen King book. I'm definitely revisiting this in the future, and I absolutely loved it. All right, and the next book I read was Fahrenheit 451. This book, I'm not gonna spoil it either. The next book is the one I'm gonna spoil. Anyways, Fahrenheit 451 is a dystopian novel with the likes of 1984, Animal Farm, and Brave New World. And as you know, I love dystopian novels, so I loved this book. It's basically in a far-off future where firefighters aren't putting out fires, but rather setting fires, and specifically to books. They are burning books. I'm not gonna get into the why or, any of that, but it's a very thought-provoking novel about how important literature is. And I remember there's just one character near the end of the book who specifically says, although we don't have the books, you want to read Plato's Republic? I'm Plato. You want to read a book by Franz Kafka? I'm Franz Kafka. And what they're trying to say with that is you become the people you read, because books are such a personal thing. When you write something, you're putting your whole life experience and emotions into it. And when you read a person's book, you're getting to know them on such a deep level that you become that person, at least if you're doing it right. And I absolutely love that line. It's reminds me of that quote, every time an old person dies, a library burns down. And that's what he said, basically. The books may have been burnt, but the pages live in here. And the second we die, that's when the books die. And we have to pass it on through the generations. And I remember like this part with the Bible. It's so good. And I absolutely love this book. 10 out of 10. I would recommend. It's only about 150 pages. It's not that long. So you could definitely read it in like one sitting if you feel like it. But you could take your time with it. It's definitely worth it. Like this is all just because of the 60th anniversary, they put all type of little, fun things here. Let me see. But like these little images and stuff, and I absolutely loved it. I heard the movie is atrocious though. I haven't seen it. But anyways, let's get into the next book. All right, so book 7 is Osamu Dazai's short story, No One Knows. Now, it's also the title of the book, but I specifically read the story, No One Knows. And it's about 10 pages, and it's basically about this girl, and there's the second book I'm gonna spoil. It's 10 pages, you can go read it, but there's no audiobooks for it or anything, just bear through the 10 pages, come on now. It's about this girl, and it's just, I don't even know how to start the story off, because it starts with her grandpa, and how she's disturbed by the story she tells him, and then it's about when she grows up, and she meets this girl at school. She's a very envious and jealous person. And they just talk throughout the years, and then they separate. Then she gets married to like this famous journalist, and she becomes envious of that. And then like her brother comes up saying they went missing, and she kind of like falls in love with him. And then it's a very strange novel, but Osamu Dazai, the way he writes, it's like it feels inhuman. You're reading it and you're like, this person isn't human. And it's the same with this girl character that I read in No One Knows. It's such an enthralling little short story. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna be reading this throughout my life, these stories, because it's so sad the way he died, and the stories he left us are phenomenal from the two that I've read, No Longer Human and No One Knows. And that's all I can really say on the book. It ends with her being married to like the girl's brother, I believe. And it's just overall such a great story, and I really enjoyed it.
You, just a shake. Sorry. Shake your booty.
All right, and the last book of the month, The Orchard Keeper. The Orchard Keeper is Cormac McCarthy's first novel, and it's not his best, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's about this. I'm gonna just read the synopsis here. Set in a remote rural Tennessee community in the years between the world wars, The Orchard Keeper tells of a young boy, John Wesley Ratner, and Marion Slider, an outlaw and bootlegger who, unbeknownst to either of them, has killed the boy's father. John Wesley's father. Together with Ratner's uncle Aether, whose communication with nature and stoic independence belongs to a former age, they enact a drama that seems born of the land itself. Yeah, he actually killed Kenneth Ratner, his dad, that's the name. And his mother tells him to go avenge his father. I'm not gonna tell you how all that goes. He like strangles him in the car. It's breathtaking, honestly. But even this first novel, it doesn't compare with all of his later works, obviously. No one's Dostoevsky writing poor folk for their first novel. That's just not how it typically goes. But it really showed promise with this first novel. And I'm gonna just read one of the quotes here on the back, because this guy knows ball. I don't know who you are, Ralph Ellison, but you are correct. McCarthy is a writer to be read, to be admired, and quite honestly, envied. I read this man's work and it makes me want to write my own book. It feels so easy yet so complex and thought out. And the man McCarthy was just so, you know, he was a gift to this world, man. I just remember that interview he had where he talked about the human subconscious being the oldest living thing in the world, and it's just, it's breathtaking the way he spoke. It's magnetic. You want more. Anyway, rest in peace, Cormac McCarthy. And let's get on to, I have to create a new section here. Okay, so as soon as I started to talk about manga, it started to rain, so I have to go into the garage and it's super hot in here, so let's just restart that. I'm not really gonna be counting manga towards the total book count because they're just too easy to read, and yeah, I know, short stories, 3-page book, it's kind of different, it's literature, but manga is more like, not comics, it's manga. It's, I can read one of these in 30 minutes and it feels cheap to inflate the count by just 12 alone this month. I'd be like at 80 books, 70, 80 books just off of this alone, and it just feels cheap. But I'm still gonna talk about it because I plan on reading more and more manga throughout the months. I only started reading manga about halfway into this month, and specifically it's Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I really loved the first 2 seasons of the anime. I watched it really early this year, and I was just like, I can't wait for the Culling Games arc. And I was like, I don't wanna wait till December to watch that movie in theaters. Why don't I just read the manga? Holy crap. It just made me love the story even more. It really made me feel more attached to the characters. In short, I read volume 11 literally just before recording this video. This is basically, spoiler alert for the Shibuya incident season 2. I'm at the part where Gojo just got sealed, and I'm gonna read manga for the rest of the day after recording this. It's the 25th. It's just incredible. I plan on finishing the rest of the series, which it's currently at 27, and then the 28th volume gets released in November, and then after that there's 2 more volumes that need to be translated to English, and then that's the series just done. Volume 30 is the final volume of Jujutsu Kaisen, but still, I'm gonna try and read up to 27 next month. And after this, I'm actually planning on starting Demon Slayer, so that's gonna be a cool manga to read. This is all I've read manga-wise, and I just wanted to make this section so that you know what's in the future for these book reviews. I'm also making a little section for the manga I'm reading, so yeah. Okay, now on to next month's reads. Next month, I'm gonna read War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Funnily enough, I found this exact copy at a Goodwill for like $2 when it would not normally be like 30. Jesus is looking for me, y'all. He's looking out for me. Then after that, I'm gonna read The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck again. And then the next book I'm gonna read after that, since it's October, Halloween, spooky season, I'm gonna read Richard Matheson's Hell House. Stephen King actually said this is the scariest haunted house novel ever written. Very funny coming from the man who literally wrote Salem's Lot. So that got me very excited for this. And then the last 2 books I'm gonna read next month is The Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. So yeah, I'm not waiting for Christopher Nolan's movie, bro. I can literally read all of this before it comes out. And yeah, that's all for this month's book review. Let's get on to the next segment. Look, okay, September was hell. So much happened in such a short period of time. And honestly, I'm not good at balancing everything out. I've been so focused on YouTube and TikTok and reading and editing videos and fixing my laptop that I just completely have abandoned myself in every healthy way imaginable. But more on the good news, we got 4.6 million views on TikTok. I'm gonna try and do better. And now for the final segment, which is channel updates. If you saw last video, my laptop is now fixed, and I even played a short horror game in that video. Hopefully you guys liked it. And yeah, that's really the future of the channel. I'm gonna just play 3-minute, 10, 15-minute horror games, edit it up quick, put it out there. I don't care if the videos are literally 2 minutes long. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and take out a video every single week, just posting them. And I actually have an idea plan with Project Zomboid, but I'm not even gonna start telling you guys what it's about, because every time I say I wanna do something, I end up just not doing it. So yeah, that's really all for channel updates. The laptop is fixed and I can officially start making videos again on YouTube that are gaming, you know? I'm also keep posting on TikTok a lot of skits, so you should really go over there and, you know, follow me so that you can see some good skits. Funnily enough, the same skit that got me 4.6 million views on TikTok got 1,000 on YouTube, which just shows YouTube does not care about promoting your content, bro. Just don't post on YouTube. I'm really about to quit YouTube and be a professional TikToker. God knows, maybe I'll really blow up making skits and just funnel all my followers into YouTube, Alpha Oxtrot style. That'd actually be very nice, honestly. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this month's book review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I was really motivated to read this month, as you can see with the sheer amount of books I read. And next month is, I hope it's just as much. Maybe I'll even read more than I doubt it. War and Peace is gonna take me 2 weeks alone. Come on. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next book review. Bye.